Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second session of Mekton Zeta. We're going to dive a bit more into the rules today. There will be dice rolling because we're about to actually hit battle. Unfortunately, I don't have a table big enough to show off my battle map. So we're not going to actually see any battle mapping today. I will just describe the scenes the best I can, especially for Mr. Jack McCarthy here, who just tipped me $5. It's my first tip. Woohoo! And you know what, Jack? You're Jack McCarthy. Here, everybody is going to have a NPC. Because I did not. Thank you, sir. I tried very hard. So Sergeant McCarthy, I did not actually come up with a full name for him. So his name is going to be Jack McCarthy. And starting in future sessions, he will move from a non-player character to becoming one of the main characters of this session for the $5 tip. So you know what? I'm gonna reward you, sir, because you were the first, and just finished listening to part one. Yeah, we haven't started yet. Spreader Chris, you just got in here. Mr. Jack McCarthy did the first tip of all my streams. Thank you, sir. All the funds go right to my channel and goes into putting it back where putting my helping my channel grow. So we're gonna hopefully see more of this coming forward into the future. So Sergeant Jack McCarthy is now gonna be a player, a player, and I'm going to make his character sheet starting tonight, and I am going to post it on Twitter. You'll be able to find, Jack, if you want to see it, you'll be able to find my Twitter page, and I'm going to post it right next to Trenton Jenkins. So, Dr. Trenton Jenkins, because he is a smart guy. We're going to see, I've been promoted to the main cast. Unintentionally, sir, unintentionally. See, when I originally, before we get started, a little introduction about how I came up with McCarthy. I thought of McCarthy because I wanted, McCarthy's actually a bit of an Irish origin name, Irish or Scottish, I think. And I wanted something like that because I myself actually am a third generation Irish descent. I did not know that. Oh, no, no, no. Excuse me. I am more of an Irish descent than I am American. Regular, but I was born here in America, so I am a U.S. citizen. But it turns out, and I think you're in Canada. I think you said that last night. And it turns out, that I'm the third generation of my family to be born here in America. Like, my family just migrated. the McCarthy's clan. Yes, yes. I was the Lochran. I won't tell you what my last name actually is, but let's say I was the old Lochran clan. Yeah, it is. It is something else. It is truly something else. And I didn't know that about myself. It turns out that those records are not actually out there for me to find that. So, I actually had a family member who is a second generation. I think he said he was born here, but his family wasn't. So yeah, I think it was either his grandfather wasn't, and then his grandfather migrated while he was a baby. But I think it was his great grandfather that was actually full, or it was his, let's see, not his dad. It was his grandfather, which is my great grandfather, that was full Irish, and so I love Irish names, and I thought about that, and then I got off stream yesterday, and you said something that sparked me, and you said, "Oh my God, he named the character after me." I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't even think about I didn't even think about that. I just came up with a name," and I'm like, "Oh my God," I'm like, that was so. But because you made the connection on the own, that's trivia. We can actually, when you guys come up with media like this, like movies and stuff, there's some trivia behind it. We'll actually have to go through media trivia. It's in every wiki page of everything you find. When people write stuff, they write a trivia section that will explain like some nuances or something that is like thrown in your face, but you don't recognize it. And it'd be like, "Oh, this was unintentional," or this, when we talk about this section here of this book, the author was doing this at the time. One of my favorite, hang on a second, I gotta tighten up my microphone thingy. One of my favorite trivia is when we talk about, one of my favorite shows is Ruby, RWBY, Ruby, is the Ruby show by Rooster Teeth, and I know they're actually going to discontinue it, and it's very sad because they're unfinished, and it's unfinished work, but it's not by any command other than, but we won't talk about it. But they had trivia sections where they talked about the original creator wasn't at IHOP doing the map. Like when he created the map, he created it with ketchup and a napkin. We're gonna have stuff like that. So you created that, sir. You've earned it. You're part of the main cast, sir. So enjoy. Now we're gonna see now we got to see what you're gonna pilot, but we won't see that today. So, all right. My name is Tabletop Junkie. I'm your host today. I'm going to tell you guys a story. This is Campaign 0 of Mekton Zeta. I call this, I've renamed this game. The game is powered by Mekton Zeta, but the campaign is called Mekton, the TJVERSE. The universe made by Tabletop Junkie. So, yeah, I went there. So basically, I'm trying to pull up Jenkins right now. So basically, that's where we're at with this. And let me get Jenkins over here. Hey, Dr. Jenkins. There we go. He's got some good skill set. Like this is a basic character. I can't remember how I came up with all the stats, but I wanted a very strong, intelligent character that came up with. He is the creator of the Mektons. He came up with the idea when he was 16, and he wanted it as the Mektons were supposed to be utilities to help rebuild the world. Instead, they are now used for destruction. And rebuild. So he went from rebuilding from the war to making another war. So now we're in the 4th year of the Mekton Wars, which is known as World War IV. And the battles being fought, instead of being with tanks and regular vehicles, is fought with giant robots. So we left off with the crew being deployed. So it's 10 versus 10, a squad of 10, and being currently deployed out into the field. There is a section in Maine that actually splits the border of Canada and Maine. It's actually a real place that I'm describing. I'm not sure if there's much of any forest life. There could be some open fields. So I imagine we're going to just say there's some open fields, maybe because some of the trees have been broken down from earthquakes. At this point, the world is going to go through some massive changes because it has faced nuclear war. There are places that no longer can inhabit life, and Jenkins is very upset with that because he built these machines he didn't know originally if he's like, okay, I built these machines to rebuild the world, to help rebuild the world and civilization. Yes, they weren't really said to cure like radiation poisoning and stuff like that. These are machines, but as ways to maybe operate inside certain zones. He had such a deeper meaning, but now it's been thrown out there. It was taken from somebody and thrown out to the entire world. This is what he's going to do, all his plans. So people were able to make other civilizations. Now, the faction we're taking on today is the Canadian-Alaskan faction, because Canada has actually captured Alaska. They do not like the United States anymore. Not sure as to really what prompted that, other than possibly leave it up to the imagination. Because I didn't actually make anything in between that. Maybe I should do more of a deeper origin story. If you guys want that, go right ahead. I will definitely do that. And we'll get a bit further into there. Meanwhile, I am pulling up my timeline. I'm pulling up all my information. I forgot to pull up one additional document. So we are actually going to meet. It's going to be daytime. So the Mektons don't have lights yet, but I imagine they have external lighting where you can see stuff. They have sensors. We can reveal it during flashback sequences. We could. We definitely could. There is a deeper meaning to everything that I write. I write a story and I'm never really done with it. Even if the story ends, it's like, okay, well, you talked about this one section, but what, was there a deeper whole point behind it? Yeah, there really was. Possibly a third friend for Jenkins, along with the other one mentioned yesterday, one equally as close but betrayed the whole team. We won't talk about that. We won't talk about that, Spartacus, because I think there is, Jenkins has a lot of friends. Benjamin Ashton's his friend. He's not close to Kelly or Anna, but that's probably out of respect for Tessa. I am sorry, I cannot be a playboy. And I can't act a playboy. It just goes against that. But if I do get in acting a little bit of a playboy where he is having multiple romances, we'll talk about that. But there was a friend that is always on his mind, and we're going to begin with that. With that being said, as the team is making their way through the wilderness, through the trees, the stomp and walking of each Mekton, Trenton takes a final flashback, and he feels, as he looks at his hand, he imagines the hand of a female just holding over him and guiding him and hoping that he comes out of danger. He is not a soldier by any means, but he does have... Hang on one second, everybody. I have a knock at the door. Let me pause. Oh, yes, it was my son and Mrs. Tabletop. They were showing me the new haircut because the poor boy had a chia pet on his head. All right, back to the stream. Gotta get back into character here. All right, so once again, we left off with Trenton imagining a female hand over his, guiding him into battle. Trenton is by no means a soldier. He is a doctor, but he does have basic combat abilities. And he does know how to pilot a mech. I mean, he had to learn how to pilot his own creations. So, but he doesn't know how well he's going to do in battle. So he is feeling very much nervous right now. As each Mekton makes their way, Squad 2, which is the MT-1 battle mechs, that team has broken off and begin hiding in the trees as they approach the area. And that is where Trenton stops. Meanwhile, the first squad, led by a squad leader. We remember that there was one squad leader known as Peter, the young 18-year-old male. He was made squad leader of the MT Mech Zero, Mech Zero. Yes, I noticed the good doctor has piloting, but no other mecha combat skills. Yes, but he has awesome reflexes, so we're hoping that he's going to win by luck. He has a little bit of luck. All right, so Peter is top of his class in boot camp training and mecha training, and this is his first time seeing combat. What Trenton did not know is this is his class. This is his team at boot camp. This is Peter's team at boot camp. So all these boys, these are not men going to battle with the MT-0 Mech Zero. They're the boys fresh out of boot camp. This is their first time seeing combat. They begin going into a clearing, knowing that they could be going into a kill box. But hopefully, if Jack McCarthy did come out right, it should lure out the other team. Jack McCarthy is actually going to be purple dice. Did it? No, not purple. We're going to make him red sparkly dice. I have a bunch of dice here. I only need like one. So what I'm gonna do, the first roll is gonna be a luck roll. If Jack McCarthy was correct, and I'm gonna give him, since we don't really know what his attributes are gonna be quite yet, his character stats, I'm gonna say luck is gonna be fairly up there. I'm gonna put it at a 5. So no matter how much points I get to allocate for Jack McCarthy, his luck will automatically be at a 5. So, hopefully, he'll be the lucky character. We're going to see how lucky he is on being right. And if he does get the higher roll, then the other team will be at a disadvantage. This is a mechanic that I have created on my own as a GM, just winging this. He scores an 11. The other team is just NPCs, so they don't really, and Jack's becoming a main character now. So the 11 is going to be a success. So as Peter comes in, they begin picking up on, because Mektons actually have what you call radar and sensors. We're going to pull up the Mech Zero. Now, you're going to see the maneuver pool and the mecha combat stats are not filled in. I actually have a filled in sheet right here of what each capability of the Mektons are. And we are going to pull up the MT-1. So this is going to so Jack was right, and this is going to bring out the other squad. They took the bait. All right. So now I get to look at. All right. So since they took the bait, we are going to play initiative rolls. So I'm going to play the white dice, and the team is going to be the blue, dark blue with the light blue lettered dice. That's weird. Alright, so if I understand correctly, let me look up the rules. And then we'll get back into character here. And keep moving, keep the story moving. And depending on how things go, we might see some scary stuff coming our way. Oh shit, did not think about that. I figured it'd be up in my research. It turns out that the book, even though I opened the book a lot last night, turns out it was, I have like the top 20 things I open, and it fell out of the top 20. It is now literally the top 30 things I open. Weird, isn't it? Alright, so the way initiative works. And this is partially to cover the system. Boy, I believe it's just a reflex roll. And the higher reflexes start first. Alright, mecha combat. Here we go. Movement, attack, line of sight, facing. Well, they're obviously facing each other. So, they're going to be within firing arcs. Yep, we're just going to make a nice reflex roll for both teams. So, the mechas are going to just be straight up reflexes on the, and it won't be the mecha reflexes. It'll be the reflexes of the opponents. So one's a 6. So the MTs, the newbies got a reflex of 4, while these enemies, I got a reflex of 6. So they're already at a disadvantage. Oh, nice. Well, I'm not re-rolling that. 10's. So if you get a 10, it does explode. So you get to roll again. I'm not re-rolling that because all that's going to do is add to it. They got 14 while the other team has 8. So as Peter and his team has waited, they begin seeing Mektons coming out of the forest wielding axes on their straight on their arms. They do see hands as well. So the MT-0 Yukons actually have mounted axes right on each left arm and right arm, similar to the Neo Canada Gundam from G Gundam. Only instead of the hands going in and that, they just protrude and act like blades off onto the side. And the blades are large enough to where if you were to attempt to block, it would hurt the mech regardless. So the only way that these mechs can come out undamaged while being attacked or blocking an attack is if they just dodge it entirely. That is the tactics that the Canadian Rebellion, they're called the Canadian Rebellion, are going to be using. So with that said, we're going to get first attack. The Mektons begin moving into battle and quickly into range, while the MT1 battle ready mechs are actually seeing the battle unfold. They've aligned their scopes, and Trenton has sat back and listened as battle initiative is a D10 plus mecha reflex. Okay. Okay, I get what you're saying now. They still got higher. And is listening to the battle unfold. He hears Peter has actually sent him an open channel link, so he can hear the audio of Peter. And Peter is like, "There's the enemy! Attack!" And they begin rushing in. Now, with no weapons or anything like that, it is going to be strictly hand-to-hand combat. So they are going to strictly just do a fighting roll. The other ones are going to do a blocking roll because, as I said, the way the Yukons are designed, whether they attack or block, they are going to hurt the current mech that they're blocking. Because that's just how they're designed. So, yeah, a little unfair advantage. But we'll also see who also gets higher. Oh, I got to roll 2 dice. Whoops. Alright, let me move the Yukons over. Alright, so both fighting, they're going to both be fighting rolls to my knowledge. Well, no, one's going to be a melee roll, I think. Let me pull up the book. Alright. Okay, so For combat, to see if we hit, it's going to be 1d10 plus the piloting. And that is for... Oh, that's evade attempts. They're not doing evade attempt. They're doing a blocking attempt. Would really suck to kill your main character this soon. Yeah, not going to die right away. Not going to die right away. But maybe getting up there. Let's see here. Oh, they can do a parry. As long as they have blades. So they can do a parry. It'll be 1d10 plus the reflexes of the mech. So awesome sauce for that one. Oh, and the mecha melee skill. Okay, cool. Alright. So one is going to be the mecha fighting skill. And one is going to be the mecha melee skill. It's Mekton. Been known to happen. Alright. Let's see how... Alright, I got my results. The results are in. And the parry... which is the mecha melee. Whoo, nope. Okay. All right. So the mechas have engaged in battle, and each Mech Zero has actually engaged one enemy, punching each one, doing a certain amount of damage. Now the punch of the Mech Zeros are not very heavy, not as much as what the armor is, but we will see how much is done here. I do have a thing. That's a mecha dismemberment table. And you can't dismember, can only damage. Oh, here we go. 6. Okay, right limb. All right. So as the so the Mektons have engaged in battle, each one wailing on the other. However, the Mech Zeros are you can hear the screams. Trenton is hearing the screams of the Mech Zeros as they're currently being actively blocked using the axes, but then are counterattacking the enemy. And damage has been done to both sides, of course. So, let me get the damage report up. I do apologize. This is probably slowing down a little bit, but combat is a little bit crunchy using the system. So, I'm going to tell you what is being done to the Yukons. So, the Yukons have taken damage in the right limb. Right limb? Is it right arm? Any right side limb. Wow. Okay, we're going to say right arms. Because they're all throwing punches. And if I'm not mistaken, they cannot do enough damage to penetrate the armor at all. Alright, while the axes are being currently counterattacked, and they are, holy shit. Didn't really bank on that. Now what did they attack again? Wow, this does... Left side. Okay. Okay, so... okay. Wow. Destroy. Okay. And within a few minutes after battle, all the Mech Zeros were destroyed. We'll see which pilots get to live. There's 5 pilots. They're beginning to eject as they went in to try and penetrate the armor of the Canadian Yukon. The Canadian Yukon was able to parry each one of their attacks with minimal damage, but yet was able to sever several limbs off of each Mekton, and each Mekton nearly exploded. And we're gonna do an eject of each soldier. And none of them make it. And the transmission just before Peter went silent. All he hears, no! Oh God, no! No, they're stronger than we thought. And all he hears is static as he sees massive explosions going off. Trenton wants to go in, and suddenly he receives another transmission from one of the other commanding officers leading Squad 2. And he goes, Dr. Jenkins, no. You'll give away our position. We have right where we want them. They are currently inside the kill box, and we do have them surrounded. Sergeant McCarthy was right. They took the bait. Trenton turns around and says, but is it going to be enough? We are outgunned here. We used the wrong types of Mektons. We have no others. We were able to mass produce them, sir. You know that. So he waits as all 9 Mektons from the enemy squad comes into area. And then they begin to open fire. They are currently they can shoot up to 6 hexes, which is like 50 meters. So to shoot long range, so let's see, 50 meters times 6, that's like 300 meters. So overwhelm them with superior numbers. Yes, whoever thought to overwhelm them with superior numbers instead of armaments is wrong. He was trying to match the numbers. They weren't ready for this. They're going to find out their intelligence was completely wrong. Trenton sits and waits as one entire squad was left to the slaughter. All right. So once again, they are at a disadvantage as they took the bait. I am going to give everybody so the team that is going to be firing on these Mektons are going to receive a +5 bonus, which is the exact luck bonus or the exact luck score of Jack McCarthy. So they're going to get +5 to whatever they roll. And there is 4 of them. They're going to roll what you call mecha gunnery, and these guys are not going to get a warning. Oh, they could get a warning, but I don't think it would matter. They would have to try and evade with the mecha reflexes, which for them is at a -6. So these guys are going to get +5 to whatever they roll, which they start off with a +11. Don't roll ones. Oh, I rolled a 1 on one of them. Crap. So 13, 19, 19, and 12, because I rolled a 1. All right, so they begin opening fire on the current squad. And let's see here. They can shoot up to 80 shots. And they do 3k worth of damage. All right, but what are they going to attack? 9th position, which is the torso. All right. They begin opening fire, and Jack actually sees on a view screen, on an enhanced view screen, that there is bullets rapidly firing among the 9 enemy Yukons. How much do they do? Only, okay. So the torso, and he can see that they are hitting their torso section. However, it has barely pierced any of the armor. There is damage done, but not much. All right, the Yukons are gonna get, or one person is also not firing right now because his gun jammed. There was a malfunction. We're not sure what's going on. We'll figure out what that malfunction is in a minute. So one of Squad 2 is missing. So there's only 3 Mektons plus Trenton. All right, real quick, we are going to do an evade roll because they're going to have to evade the bullets. And I don't think they're actually going to really get very far with that. Let's see here. No. I gotta roll like a few more days. Hang on one second. Oh, no. Okay. Failed. Critical fail. They all failed. And that was 6. I need to roll 3 more dice. Nope, not even close. Alright. So, definitely another spray of bullets again. Alright, so the Yukons begin sitting in... So, alright, so here's how the battle's going so far. There is crossfire in between the bullets. The Yukons are currently being slaughtered. They actually failed their roll on trying to get out of the sequence, and actually a couple of them critically failed. So we ended up losing a couple of the Yukons. There was 9 of them. There is 2 critical fails. So there's only 7 of the enemy forces left, and the rest are remaining with no torso armor whatsoever. Alright, the firing seems to stop as they begin reloading. Trenton waits as he sees that there is 7 enemy people still left. And he begins moving forward. But as he urges the controls forward, he suddenly hears a voice. Not yet. And suddenly he cuts into a flashback. Why not? It's not time yet. There's 7 of them. They're sitting ducks. And yet, in the briefing, there's said to be 10. Where's the leader? We can take them. 2 Mektons are down. They slaughtered my entire team. Peter's dead. Yes, Peter may be dead, but you're not. I failed. I failed again. Just like I failed you. You did not fail me. It was an accident. And all of a sudden, he cuts back to reality as they're getting ready to open fire on the Mektons again. However, there is 1 Mekton currently missing. Oh, there's 2 currently missing. Alright. Gonna roll some reflexes here on the remaining 7. Alrighty. A bit crunchy. It appears to be a bit crunchy. But I kind of like it. I still kind of like it. It's got some mech battles going on here. Alrighty. Let's see here. Alright, all zeros. And they scored a 9 and a 10. Ooh. Okay. And they're not getting any additional bonuses as that they are now found out. Alright, so let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. Gone. Gone. Alright. Fair enough. Alright, they begin. Fire begins as soon as the battle-ready mechs reloaded. Side question for later, but did you invest in the Mekton Zeta Plus book as well? Alrighty. They begin, once the battle-ready Mektons, they begin unloading again, except now it is only 2 enemies firing into the crowd. 1 Mekton actually did fail and already went down. So that is leaving 6 left. And let's see here. Let's see, what is the damage? Oh, I gotta see which sides they're hitting. Hang on. Oh, the torso again. All right, so we're gonna say 4. Yeah, we're gonna say 2 more has been lost, and Trenton once again watches as 2 more of the enemy forces actually falls. Actually, it's 4 more. There was 7. 2 went down on their own, and then 2 more went down. So there went from 7 to 3. And the 3 Mektons are remaining. However, they made it outside the kill box, and he's like, they're getting away. Trenton's like, I'm not waiting no more, and he begins activating his mech going in for further strike. However, they did not know he was in there. He's going to do a pilot roll to see if he can roll and be unnoticed. And looks like he's unnoticed for a minute. And they're like, wait a minute. There's other mechs. There's another one that we didn't even know about. And that's all he hears from another one as he is going to roll a fighting skill. Ho! Ho! Double damage. And let's see. Can they evade? One's going to try and evade? Ooh. Nope. Nope. Double damage. And it's going to be double damage to 5th location, which is the right side. So, as one of them begins going, we found another mech, he begins swinging his right arm with the axe, but Trenton totally misses the axe and, with one swoop of his force and fist meeting up with the other fist of the Mekton, shreds right through that Mekton, or at least the armor of it. Let's see here. Double damage for Jaeger on a single punch is 2k. Remember, the rival leader to the protagonist is always introduced in the first battle. Yes, I will remember that. I will remember that. Let's see here. Yukon, right arm was already attacked. And it had 5 left, so it did 2 more points of damage. But, so as the force of the battle meets, and he misses the axe, the armor on the right arm of the one Yukon begins shifting. And he's like, oh no, I'm losing the armor. This Mekton is a little bit powerful than the others. Let's see. They begin running scatterly. Let's see if the 2 battle-ready mechs can get a beat on them. One did not. Double damage. Very easily. And the one right on top of 3rd location, which is the torso, which has nothing. As soon as they begin pulling back in battle, Trenton received a transmission. He's like, Dr. Jenkins, pull back, I got him. And one of the battle-ready mechs began firing. He moves out of the way very quickly, showing the Mekton's actual skill. And I'm actually going to pull up Jaeger right here for you guys. This is Jaeger. Very light mech. So he was able to handle the force of that. And then let's see here. Wait, is that Jaeger actually? Is that actually Jaeger? Let's see here. Let me move the Yukon. Oh, that is. Only an 18-ton mech against a 63-ton mech. And they begin shooting the torso. At this point, the torso has no armor and the pod is completely exposed. And I believe they don't really have any kill levels after the armor is... Oh, no. 0 kills. The torso has 12 kills. We haven't really been following that code a whole lot. I totally skipped over that. But I have to keep the thing going. Double damage for that gun is 6 kills. And the armor is completely gone. And I'm pretty sure we've already exceeded that. So we're just going to say that all you hear is, ah! And then explosion in the chest cavity of the mech. And it falls backwards, leaving only 2 people left. No damage has came to Jaeger. And so far there is only 1 battle-ready mech left. He goes, sir, are you okay? Yes. We have a bigger problem, though. He's like, what's that? Where's the rest of your team? Team, come in. This is, let's see, I gotta come up with a name. We're gonna come up with Sergeant, oh man, I can't come up with it. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna, Nah, not Sergeant Smith. That is so bland. You know what? Since I already named one person after this, it's gonna be Sergeant Christopher Spartan. There you go.
Just throwing something out there.
Yep. I know what you're doing. There we go. We're gonna name him after my friend Spartacus. All right. So as soon as the rebel as soon as the smoke clears, revealing only 2 Yukons left, all of a sudden the rest of the team went silent. and they're like, I'm not detecting any vital signs. Base, have you guys detected any vital signs from the other mechs? He's like, no, we've actually lost all vital signs on the other mechs. And all you hear is, so, that is Mekton Jaeger. And all you see is this hulking mech coming forward. And suddenly it comes up as reading as the MTC-02 Vigilante model of the Canadian Rebellion. And Trenton begins feeling fear for the first time. He's like, you took out the other team? Huh. Yeah, they were very easy to dispatch of. These Mektons are a joke, and they say you're the creator of them? Well, I got news for you, sir. You're definitely not going to make it through very easily. Took them out very simply from behind. And suddenly he reveals blades coming out of his arms. Both arms, actually. I believe they are... There's one blade on his right arm. This is similar to... so the Vigilante was actually similar to Striker Eureka from Pacific Rim. That's where I got this idea from. And I liked the Sting Blade, so I actually made up the Sting Blade for this game. He's like, you guys are very simple to dispatch of, and I'm going to make it very easy for you. You're not going to simply get away from this. And he's going to do a little bit, he's like sort of at a range, so he's going to do a gunnery attack. And all of a sudden, one arm comes up and bends forward and begins lighting up. And he's like, Trenton's like, that's a railgun! Railgun is attached to the left arm. Let's see what kind of, Oh. Wow. He's like, we're going to very easily make dispatch of you guys. And as the railgun begins to fire, suddenly the mech shuts down. He's like, what the hell? What's going on? Sir, we're reading your core power, your core power plant is actually beginning to overload. Eject immediately. Eject. And he's going to attempt the ejection with his reflexes. Let's see here. 14. I'm going to say that makes it. All of a sudden, the chest cavity opens up and begins to eject a pod. And it shoots square right into the forest, leaving 2 Yukons left with 1 battle-ready mech and Jaeger. Alright, so let's see here. Well, that was stupid luck. Alright, we're going to just finish out this battle. They're like, we're going to... Well, let's see here. Could they finish out that battle? It'll be their attack. So, Yukon is the only one around. So let's see. Can they... Nice melee. So their melee attack is going to be met with Jaeger's parry. Or no, Jaeger's going to dodge. Alright, so that would be melee 8 and 12. Alright, battle ready for 1. Okay. And... Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, without paying close attention, Trenton freaks out. And he goes, I'm not going to allow you to take me down. And he quickly hits a button, which actually activated the main and sub-guest system. And he begins moving for anywhere from 60 miles an hour straight up to 90 plus. And he manages to dodge the attack, leaving the battle-ready mech to fend for itself. However, it did not get the dodge, so it's going to take damage from both the mechs, which is going to come up to 7k. And 7 kills. And that supersedes everything. Left leg and right arm. And within mere moments, all you hear is, Doctor, help me! And then an explosion as Trenton made it out of the battle. He calls into the base and says, "Base, I've lost the battle. There is still 2 enemies left. We're going to have to come up with a new plan. This was no good. This was no good. Sergeant Jenkins, do you copy?" Or not Sergeant Jenkins. Sergeant McCarthy, do you copy? "We've copied all of that. Come on back, Doctor. We can't afford to lose you." By the end of the day, around sundown, as the original team advances, they have less than a few hours before the 2 Yukons are actually on the base. Very little to no damage has been done to them. We've called in for extra supplies. We're not sure what's going to happen. Well, I did survive and so did Jaeger, but I ran from the battle. You guys need to speak with Dr. Benjamin Ashton. He's working on a new project, a secret project that we weren't going to tell the military. Sergeant McCarthy was like, "Wait, you didn't tell us about it?" No, it was called Project Schneider. It's sort of the counterpart for Yukons. We were kind of thinking if the blades could work, the way they came up with it was a great idea. I thought speed and numbers would defeat them, but clearly they have more armor, and my Mektons, we can mass produce them quicker than they can. Granted, but that's not going to win the war. Not if they can wipe us all out. It was a no-brainer. It was literally, they outmatch us almost 3-1. One of their Mektons can outnumber any Mekton that we made, except for maybe Schneider. Schneider's a bit heavier, a bit more well-armored, and a bit more, possibly not as agile, but might be able to do the trick. How long will it take for the project to get here? Well, it took us inside 12 hours. We have just a couple hours before these Mektons are on top of us. What do you propose we do? Well, I propose that we actually use other types of vehicles. We should have some tanks. And Jack leans forward. He says, "We don't have any of that. We are relying solely on Mektons. They are better than any vehicle that we have." Trenton leans back. He's like, "I've doomed us all." There was a second team. There was 2 teams deployed. We took on the first and failed. I will get the damage report, but we are evacuating the base. We've lost Maine to the Canadian Republic, or the Canadian Rebellion. We're abandoning it. I'm calling it. And I will be bringing this to general light as well. I'm sorry. I failed once again. All my smarts, all my brains cannot even fathom the attack force. They always say mind over matter, or mind over muscle, and it's not anything like that. Let's begin evacuation immediately. Meanwhile, we can sulk over this later. Are you okay? So we cut to Jack getting up, and he says, and he looks at Trenton, and he says, "Are you at least okay? I know you're probably emotionally destroyed." There's a Sergeant Christopher Spartan, leading the battle-ready team. He didn't make it. Actually, you're wrong. He's out there somewhere. They didn't see him eject his pod. What? He's still alive. We got a man missing, but we don't have enough time to find him. Hopefully he will be fine. Hopefully, but we'll see. Meanwhile, the first team, the first wave is advancing. What happened to the Vigilante model? It was powering up. It seemed to have powered up its railgun, but it seemed like whatever it did, it overloaded the power core. It's very possible, or the power plant. It's very possible that the railguns may be overkill for them, and they can't. The power plant can't handle the amount of power it takes to charge it. But I didn't receive any of this information from intelligence reports. That's because no intelligence reports got it. This is the first. Somehow, we pushed a Vigilante model to its breaking point. Now we know its weakness. Now we just got to take care of the Yukons. I'm sending all this information to General Light. Hopefully we can make sense of it. And Trenton, either I will pilot Jaeger from now on, or you get me into a Mekton that's not the Mech Zero or the Battle Ready. We're evacuating to the another Shatter Dome. You'll be there. You'll have a lab to yourself. So let's get ready and get our attack force back up. Yes, sir. I won't fail again. As for Christopher Spartan, is there a way that we'll be able to find him later on? Maybe, but not behind enemy lines. Meanwhile, let's get out of here. We got less than 2 hours. Yes, sir. As Trenton was packing everything up, him and Tessa managed to get everything, their remains, everything that they brought with them, loaded up in the aircraft carrier as they begin taking off. Benjamin's beginning deployment on his project as Kelly and Anna begin running their their simulated field tests and data. They said essentially we don't know if it's going to be enough to break through the armor bend, but these blades might be enough. The alloy might be there. It's just it's going to cost more than what it takes to make the normal Mektons we got. I understand that, but as I told Trenton, we're going to need this. Obviously, they're going to eventually mobilize and spread out. They're invading us now. Maine is now under their control. We've lost. Jack comes down and says, I'm glad that you guys seem to think we lost, because we did. Second team didn't have Mekton Jaeger with them. They just had the Battle Ready and the Mech Zeros. They didn't last. They broke right through our defenses. Maine is completely under the Canadian Rebellion's rule now. Land is getting smaller and smaller. Yes, Ben, it is. Meanwhile, Trenton was staying quiet as Tessa comes right behind him. Are you okay? I failed again. Again, I have failed. It's going to be because of my co-workers that we win this battle, not me. I'm not even smart enough to handle whatever this is. I made machines. People are better than I am. I just can't put up with any more of this failure. We got a couple hours before we get to the next Shatter Dome. I'm gonna get some rest. As he sleeps, he notices a particular scent that he hasn't smelled in a long time. How is it that you still blame yourself after all these years? Because if the field test went right, you will still be here. If I was still here, you would never be with Tessa. You'd be with me. And the scene goes black. And that is where we're going to cut it for today. So, wow, that was Mektons, I'm going to give Jack McCarthy props. He is right. This system does, your mech can technically get blown out from underneath your feet pretty quick. But, they did, excellent. Thank you. That means a lot to me, sir. I am trying my hardest to roleplay while to GM, roleplay, be a player while being the GM and rolling dice. I felt like the combat was a bit crunchy, but it was. So, but now we are going to be we're gonna have new story development coming. Sergeant Jack McCarthy and Sergeant Christopher Spartan. Christopher Spartan is coming back, everybody. He is not dead. I rolled a 10 on his ejection, which gave me another roll, and yeah, he clearly made it out unharmed. They just didn't see where he is, so he's behind enemy lines right now. So we'll have to see if he can maybe sabotage the enemy and they can retake Maine. maybe we'll have a battle on that, but not sure. And that is what I have here for today. So that's the first 2 sessions. So now I got to plan out a third session. Third session will probably be Chris Spartan will steal one of those Yukons and bring it back. Yeah, there we go. And can't forget, as a story development, so what happened with the railgun as the sergeant and the leader, that was the first time he used it. He actually literally just sliced into the other Mektons by sneak attacking them. They rolled 1s on firing, so instead of coming up with like a malfunction, I just said they got taken out. Just to keep the Spartan shows up with an experimental prototype from the Canadian Forces. LOL. Yes, that could totally happen. We are gonna, you know what? That's gonna be the next session. Is Christopher Spartan behind enemy lines? I'm gonna get into him. So I've got two new PCs to get up there. We're gonna see how well this goes. So, but they did find out. So what happened with the vigilante is I rolled a 1 on firing the railgun, and a 1 is an automatic fail. So I was like, oh, there's his weakness. He overloaded the power core, and honestly, with that being premiered the first time, yeah, that is going to be in the intelligence report. So they now know what they have to do to take out the vigilantes, or at least they're going to find a way to handle the vigilantes. So they found out that they may be heavily built, but there is some quirks with those mechs. So we'll have to see what comes out further on. Jack McCarthy, good session, TJ. Yes, sir, and definitely awesome. Thank you once again for. I don't know if I'm premiering the tip on here that you did. I'm still working with this program a little bit, so I appreciate you, sir. I will also. I just appreciate you. I can't say that enough. So thank you, because you were my first one. You are going to be remembered, sir. Because you're going to be remembered for the channel growing. You were the start of it, and hopefully you won't be the last of it. So we're going to keep going here. All right. Well, that's everything I have at this time. I'm going to be, I got some stuff I got to get to, and just going to enjoy my day off. So you guys have a great day, and to remember to work hard, play hard, game on, everybody. Have a great and wonderful day, and enjoy your weekend.